Everyone is at least 6 feet away from everyone. You can take off your mask, but if we ask you to get up and move around, you put them back on. So, first of all, we'd like to have a consideration of the meeting minutes held on August 17, 2020. Any questions, additions, takeaways? We have a new motion to receive. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. In favor? All right, thank you. Public comment. Does anyone would like to speak before this board? There are none. Okay, moving along to the discussion of the comprehensive plan. I'd like to introduce Mr. Gary Whitney.
Okay, gentlemen, I have in front of you, you'll see a wonderful binder there, nicely made up. I want to thank Amy for that. She did a terrific job. What we have in front of you is the comprehensive plan 2030 that was worked on by WVU, and this is their draft. So it's just a draft. It's nothing that is formally completed. Basically, it is the job of the planning and zoning. We're the planners of the city, and it's our job to carry this through clear to the finish line. But it's certainly a great start, and as I read through it, there's a lot of wonderful things in here. I think WVU did a really nice job under the direction of Dr. Margaret Stout, and I think you'll see it was well done. I think that it's going to be our job to go through this plan. There could be some things in here that we do not feel that it's going to be what's right for our city. But I think you're going to be possibly charged up after you go through this. It was pretty good to go through this. I've read it several times, taking it down from element to element. There's 10 elements as they've listed here, and they've got it broken down by elements. And if you would, you'll just go to the content page. You'll be able to go through with me, and we'll go through some of the elements. But my plan is to separate up into subcommittees. I feel that that's probably the best way to handle this. It's a big deal to tackle all by yourself, or I think if you come together as a group and we try to have work sessions, it's going to get very confusing and be very, very difficult. So what I'd like to do, and I've got some teams set up, you know, Coach Withy here went to work and put together, I think, a pretty good team, 3 big teams actually, and as you go through this, 3 teams of 2 attacking this would be basically you would end up with 2 of those elements. Your team would end up with 2 of those elements. What I envision is coming back and as a team to each planning and zoning meeting and discussing your findings or your team findings. It's more about the work that's done outside of the meeting. You come into the meeting and you'll discuss, you know, your findings and what you feel about that. We can all discuss that a little bit, but basically we use our meetings as just listening and recording the team's minutes and notes, and then sitting down and planning the next session. We're going to run into some holidays coming up, so I envision there could be some additional work, some additional homework, depending on when Chairman Chapman schedule some of those meetings. But we can go through this now if you'd like and take a peek. I do want to go through a little bit and look at the elements. That first element is, first of all, I don't want to down-emphasize the first couple of pages where they talk about the community profile. Those were pretty good. I enjoyed reading that. I actually learned a little bit about Summersville that I did not know. Being a person that is not from this area, I learned a few things. So I do encourage you to go through there and read that. Elements, they broke it down into natural resources as element 1. To promote the protection of natural resources to ensure their enjoyment for generations by Summersville residents. Also broken on down into ensure environmentally safe development, and then it just goes right on down through the natural resources logic. So a pretty interesting element there, and we'll attack that as a team. Element 2 is cultural and historic resources. There's some folks that have really helped us out a lot with this. So we've got some folks that would probably join in on your team discussion if you like. I can give you who worked on that if you need some additional help. Element 3 is land use and design. By far, I feel the most intense for me anyway was the land use and design. When I got into that, it was pretty intense for me, and I had a lot of learning. But once you've been through that particular element, you'll feel a whole lot better about what you're doing on planning and zoning. It'll help you out a lot. Transportation and circulation, certainly big. Complete street layout. There's a lot of things we're doing as a city right now to assist with that, with mapping and so on and so forth. It's a pretty nice element. There's a lot of folks, MTA especially, and others that are really interested in this element. It's big for our city. Public services and utilities provide the safety and welfare of all residents through provision of adequate public services and utility infrastructure. Another good one, DJ, I think that's going to be right up your line. Okay, definitely has some expertise in that. Element 6 is civic facilities. Develop and maintain adequate facilities for government and civic activities. Another good one. Number 7, near and dear to my heart, I know a lot of others, Parks and Recreation. It's a real nice section in there on that. Housing, another very, very interesting project there. Housing affordability limits. It certainly opened my eyes up to having a housing commission in charge of this. I just did not realize all the things that are involved in this housing and the importance of how we manage that housing and make sure that our city is adequately set up for everyone involved. Element 9, economic development, another super good one there, and I know the mayor has been talking a lot about this, but we're really on the move. We've got a lot of good positive things happening in the city of Summersville, and economic development is going to be a big part of this, so I look forward to being involved in that one. And then plan implementation. I truly envision all of us getting involved in that last one. That's the oddball out there. How are we going to implement this plan once we get there? So, in short, I think we've got a good plan here. I think we've just got to get into subcommittees and get to roll our sleeves up and get to work. There's going to be a lot of help out there. I came in contact with some folks that certainly can help us along the way, and we're going to need some guidance. I know we want to make sure this is well done. You know, I have went back and looked at the previous comprehensive study, and I'm real proud of where this one is in comparison to that. I think that, you know, the last one, you know, after reading it, I looked at it and thought, how much of that did we really accomplish? And I like the direction that we're going in with the city right now in regard to this planning commission. I look forward to taking this comprehensive plan and drawing it out and then looking at our ordinances. Let's get everything matched so things can happen and move in a positive direction. So with that being said, Craig, I'm going to open the floor up to any discussion. Does anybody have any ideas or any comments on any of this?
So this is their draft.
it's not completed. It's sort of like this is what they got done. You know, we're going to have to carry it a little bit further, but it's certainly a great start.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
What do you think?
Volunteers?
Do you have anything at all? Obviously, you won't have content. You just got your content. So,
Well,
you feel that's the right direction to go in subcommittees?
I agree with that. Just personally, yeah. I read just the community profile, and I think there's a lot of good information in there.
There is.
And that's a lot of good data.
There is.
But absolutely, I don't know. These college kids have kind of made it pretty easy to really just, you know, here's a roadmap. Just get on it and start driving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Jim, you got anything? Jim!
Hey, I don't know what I don't know at this point.
Exactly. I know it's all new, it's all fresh, but I think the clear direction of what we have to do. We have to just roll our sleeves and go. And I think it's important for we're the planners, so we've got to get in there, put together a good plan.
What is this discussion of 5 projects?
Yeah, I want to talk about the projects. WDU actually came back with some additional work. Dr. Stout came up with some projects. I mean, I think they reached out to us too and talked about some projects that could help them in regard to working toward the comprehensive plan and put some students to work. They've been very interesting. A couple of you have sat in on a couple of those projects. They're interesting. They're very interesting. How many of those projects will come to fruition? I'm not sure. But they are interesting projects, and I was telling the mayor today actually that those projects have been important to me, and I've been trying to sit in as many of those as I can because it just shows the importance and the responsibility that we have as planners to look at all the avenues and open our minds up to outside the box ideas. And it really opened my eyes, even though I'm sitting there at one, there's just no way we can get this done. It wouldn't be great if we could. But it opened my eyes that, hey, there's all kinds of possibilities here. We need to continue to think outside the box. And then how are we going to assist in making a plan work? And that's what we do. And that's what our plan responsibilities are. So, these are the 5 projects that are currently going on. There is a housing authority project, a downtown district project, a pedestrian amenity project, a downtown lake access loop project, and a lake area annexation project. So they're currently working on some of those, and it's going pretty well. They're about halfway through. We're going to get a update, and I just sent you today a invite that you can jump on and get an update as to where each one of these projects are. And it's mostly just if you want to take a little look at what people are thinking. Don't get upside down on it because it's really in the early phases of what's going on. It's interesting to see, especially how folks that are not from here come in and look at our area. And there has been some challenges. I mean, they can't come visit due to COVID and things of that nature. But I'm really proud of the committees that's been working with them, and it's all local folks. They've been doing a lot of homework. I was with one the other night. He was sitting down doing a lot of mapping for them, and I was impressed by that. So it's been really solid. So that email should have been sent to you today. I know Amy sent them out today. I believe their update is on December 4th. So check that email out if you want to jump on. It's a Zoom meeting. You don't have to jump on with video. You can just jump on and listen in, and I think you'll find it to be pretty exciting. If you would, Chairman Chapman, I think we should go ahead and begin by assigning some elements and let them begin reading through the content so they can, and I know the scope is difficult to read together, but I think we can easily go through it, talk by phone or parts of it, and get those things set up.
So kind of let everybody, you know, 10 elements.
Yeah, I got 10 elements. I put together, and I could get kicked off the team. I get that, but I liked Jimmy Webb's Jimmy Epling simply because there was two Jimmys, and you usually call that team Jimmy. I like that team. I got BJ and Brandon together. I think those two match up good. They're in the same neighborhood.
Can't hear you very well.
Can't hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, you just got assigned a whole bunch of work.
I figured that.
Okay.
Just tell me what.
And when you raised your hand, it said okay.
Okay, gotcha.
And I got Clinton, Craig, and myself on the other two. And work together. They were extremely busy. So,
Did you break it down by any of the elements?
yeah, I think, actually, starting out, we're going to just be discussing those first three elements: natural resources, cultural and historical resources, land use and design. I'll tell you, that land use and design, it's a tough one. So I'm going to put Craig, Clinton, and myself on that one. And be relying a lot. I apologize, Clinton. I probably need some of your help on expertise with some of that. With element one, natural resources, I'm going to go with BJ and Brandon. And then cultural and historical will be Jim and Jim. The plan, guys, would be to not come in and really work as a lot, but for you to come in as your team and report your findings, and then sort of like a next steps plan, if you will. Sit there and we can discuss, help you if you've got some difficult things and you want to discuss some of those.
Everybody okay with that? Okay with that?
Good.
We'll move on with that.
Okay.
Thank you, Gary.
Sign their chapter.
What's that?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else we need to talk about? Mr. Mayor, you have anything to talk about?
No, sir.
No comments?
I was going to give a speech for Jimmy. I was going to give a speech for Jimmy, but he talked me out of it before the meeting.
All right.
All right.
So can we look at our calendars?
Everybody do their homework assignment.
Try to select our next meeting date. Is that what I think? And look at holidays are going to be involved, mixed.
You got council Monday coming up, right?
Correct.
All on the book. So, do the 7th. Well, wait.
Your
7th is council, correct?
the 14th will be council.
Go back to 7th. December 7th.
I think that
Or
was
is that too soon?
no. I think that would be fine. December 21st is too close to the holidays. I think we're on the 7th.
Everybody okay with that? December 7th?
What's the
December
date?
7th, is that too early, or you feel okay with that?
Good?
It's pretty early. I mean, December 7th, but the only other spot I would move it to would be maybe on Thursday the 17th. December 17th.
Doesn't everything sound low? You know,
14th is not available?
It's council.
Council
Oh, okay.
meeting.
All right.
What makes better night for you? Night before, night
Generally, but don't worry about it. No big deal.
let's see, we got,
To be fair to our hunters, they're gonna be in the woods here a lot for the next few days.
how about the 15th, or Tuesday?
Does that work for you? 15th? It's a Tuesday night? Okay.
Back here at 6 o'clock. Yep.
Yes.
That works.